By the time she realized what she'd done, it was already too late. The post was still there, getting likes and comments. But something had shifted, something she couldn't name yet. She would spend months trying to understand it. By evening, people would look at her differently. She'd face consequences, understanding the line between confidence and overexposure. But now, she was riding the high of going viral, unaware she'd crossed an invisible line. There's no going back. Our culture celebrates visibility. Share your story, be authentic, show up as your full self. Advice on personal branding is everywhere. Don't hide your light, don't play small. Visibility creates opportunity. Authenticity builds connection. Sharing your journey helps others. The rules seem simple. Confidence means owning who you are publicly, sharing wins, and being unapologetic. If you have a perspective, say it. Culture and algorithms reward this openness. Vulnerability is currency. Transparency is trust. Exposure is how you prove you're real. She understood this perfectly. She'd been building her presence carefully, sharing her work, her thoughts, her journey. Not everything, she had boundaries, but enough to be seen, to be known. And it was working. People responded to her openness, her willingness to share highlights and hard parts. That's confidence, they said. Until the day she shared just a little too much. Not traumatic, not scandalous, just too much of herself. Too much insight into her thoughts, too much detail about her life, too much access to the person behind the persona. And something broke. The invisible line between confident and overexposed. Between authentic and too available. She didn't know it existed until she crossed it. It started as a normal post, a realization about herself, her patterns, her growth. It felt significant, worth sharing. The kind of vulnerability that creates connection. She wrote it out, edited it, made it clear, honest, raw. Hit post. The response was immediate. Likes, comments. Thank you for sharing this. This resonated. You're so brave. She felt seen. But then she noticed something. A few hours in, the tone of the comments shifted. Not all, but some felt different. Wow, that's really personal. Are you okay? That seems like a lot to process publicly. Concern, maybe. But also, judgment? I feel like I know too much about you now. Meant as a joke, but it landed differently. She ignored it at first. But the next day, something else happened. A colleague mentioned the post. Not directly, just a reference. And in their tone was something she'd never heard before. Pity. Not respect, not admiration for her honesty. Pity. Like she'd revealed something that made her smaller in their eyes. Then a friend texted, "Hey, I saw your post. Everything okay?" She was fine. The post wasn't a cry for help. It was just sharing. But now she had to explain that. The post that was supposed to show confidence had made people worry about her. Or worse, see her as someone who needed validation. Over the next few weeks, she noticed changes. Small things. Things most people wouldn't catch. But she caught them. People started treating her differently. Not badly, not obviously. Just differently. Colleagues stopped making eye contact the same way. Friends started being more careful around her, more gentle. Like she was fragile. She wasn't fragile. She was fine. But she'd given them too much access to her internal world, and now they couldn't unsee it. Professional opportunities slowed down. Not dramatically, but the person who used to DM her about collaborations stopped reaching out. Companies went quiet. Because she'd shown too much. Not her work, not her expertise. Too much of herself. And once people see you that exposed, that available, that open, that willing to share everything, they stop seeing you as someone with boundaries, with mystery. Someone with power. They see you as someone who needs to be seen. And need, no matter how you frame it, doesn't command respect. She tried to course correct. Posted more professionally. Shared wins without the emotional backstory. Kept the next few months more curated. But the damage was done. Not because people remembered that one post. Most people forgot it within a week. But she'd changed the contract. She'd shown them that she was willing to be that open, that available, that exposed. And you can't take that back. It's like telling someone a secret and then asking them to pretend they don't know it. The dynamic has shifted. She used to be someone they respected. Now she was someone they knew too much about. And the thing about being known too intimately by people who aren't intimate with you? It kills the mystique. It kills the professional distance. It kills the thing that makes people take you seriously. Confidence is knowing your worth and showing it selectively. Overexposure is knowing your worth and needing everyone else to validate it. She thought she was being confident. But confidence doesn't need an audience for every realization. Confidence doesn't require public processing. Confidence doesn't share everything. She'd confused transparency with strength, vulnerability with courage, being known with being valued. And the consequences weren't dramatic. No one called her out. No one unfollowed en masse. They just stopped seeing her the way they used to. And once that shift happens, you can't undo it. Not by being more professional. Not by sharing less. Because you taught them how to see you. She spent months trying to figure out what went wrong. The problem wasn't the post. The problem was what the post revealed. That she needed to share it. That she required public validation for her growth. Confident people share from overflow. Overexposed people share from need. And people can tell the difference. Confidence says, I've learned something valuable. Here it is if you want it. Overexposure says, I've learned something valuable. Please tell me I'm valuable for learning it. One is a gift. The other is a request. So she changed. Not by sharing less, but by changing why she shared. She started asking herself, am I sharing this to help someone? Or am I sharing this to feel seen? Would I share this if I knew no one would respond? That last question was the hardest, because it revealed the truth. Most of what she'd been sharing was for her. This is the trap of our era. We've confused exposure with confidence. We've been told that sharing everything is strength, but there's an invisible line. Confidence is selective sharing. Not everything needs to be public to be real. Overexposure happens when you start performing your life. When being seen becomes more important than being whole. And the culture encourages this. But here's what they don't tell you. The more exposed you are, the less powerful you become. Because power requires mystery. Respect requires boundaries. Influence requires distance. When people know everything about you, they stop wondering. When you share everything, you become background noise. Known quantities don't fascinate people. They don't command attention. The people who have real influence, they're not sharing everything. They're the ones who share strategically, who understand that what you don't say is often more powerful than what you do. Confidence is comfortable with silence. Overexposure fills every gap with content. The invisible line isn't about how much you share. It's about why you're sharing it. Are you giving from fullness? Or seeking from emptiness? Availability masquerading as authenticity is the fastest way to lose respect. She learned this too late. But you don't have to. The invisible line exists. And the smartest thing you can do is learn where it is before you cross it. Because once you do, you can't go back. You can only learn to protect what's left. And hope that next time, you'll know the difference between confidence and overexposure.